In today's video, we're checking out the Artist Guitar's AA60 Acoustic Amplifier. This has two dedicated channels for a microphone and guitar, and it also is rated at 60 watts RMS. There's lots of different inputs and outputs. It's Bluetooth compatible, all that kind of stuff, and I'll run you through everything you need to know about this amp. This is an absolute pleasure to play. A massive thanks to the good folks at Artist for sending this out for the review. I really appreciate it. They've also sent out one of these acoustics for me to borrow while I shoot this video. And while this video is sponsored, I'm also going to tell you about the pros and cons at the end. On the back, there's an XLR out, which you're about to listen to now in this jam track, and then we'll go over to some isolated tones. Here we go. Here's the amplifier up close. Now, this is a two-speaker amplifier and it's rated at 60 watts. So there's a tweeter and a more full-range speaker built in. We get this really cool looking grill cloth. If we take a look at the back of the amplifier here, you can see we get lots of different options. Now, this amplifier is fully Bluetooth compatible as well. So if you want to jam to a backing track, and I'll show you that later, you can do that without any problems. But we also get the ability to run in auxiliary inputs into this. So if you just want to play some backing tracks that way, or fill out some time between a set at a gig, you can do that depending on your audio solutions. We get a DI out, which is fantastic. I'm going to be showing you a mix of how this sounds in the room with a microphone and also how that XLR out sounds, and it works beautifully. This is a two-channel acoustic guitar amplifier or mini PA system in many ways. So we get our guitar channel over here. We get a gain control, which controls the input gain of this particular channel. We get a bass, middle, and treble control. So 3-band EQ. We get a dedicated reverb circuit and chorus circuit. Now, the great news is the chorus circuit and the 3-band EQ are all notched. So if you want to find the middle, it's nice and simple, and it just sort of clicks into place when you get to the top. The reverb circuit doesn't have this. Reverb circuits don't usually do that, but it's great to be able to find 12 o'clock without having to look. I think this is a really great touch. This microphone channel is essentially the same, except we get our XLR input over here. We'll be testing this out with a dynamic microphone in just a moment. Again, we get our gain control, which controls the input level of the microphone channel. A 3-band notched EQ, so 12 o'clock will click into place. We get a dedicated reverb control and a master output. Now, the master output is how loud the amplifier is globally, and then you can set each channel's volume accordingly by using the gain controls. At the time of filming, this comes in at 349 Australian dollars, which is an absolute bargain considering that this is a 60 watts RMS amplifier and it weighs 8.2 kilograms. So it's still very portable when you're talking about acoustic amplifiers, considering how many features they've packed in here. Let's get into it. So this is the Artist D75C acoustic guitar. It's loaded with a Fishman pickup. The Fishman pickup system works great. I'm gonna have most of it flat. I'm just going to be using the volume control on here so we can get a good sense of what the amp can do. Now on the back of the amplifier, we've got the XLR going out into my Focusrite sound card, and back about 1 meter, I have a condenser microphone in the room. So you're going to hear a mix of both how this sounds recorded, or if you were going to a PA system, or if you're sitting here in the room. So hopefully this is helpful. This is with the pickup at about 12 o'clock. Here we go. So this is the XLR to begin with. So it's nice and bright, it's nice and punchy, and you can of course adjust the EQ, but I want to show you how this sounds now in the room. Beautiful. Now, if you've got a pickup system like this, you can adjust the top end, the bass, the mids on the guitar, or you can use the amp. So let's adjust some parameters here. I'm just going to turn down the treble, back off the mids a little bit, and we'll give that a shot. I'll add just a little bit more reverb as well. Man, that sounds great. I'm just going to turn the treble down a hair on the guitar here, and I'm also going to just turn up the bass. So if you've got a pickup system like this, this is how it sounds. This will be the room sound. Beautiful. I've just turned the chorus on and backed off the reverb a little bit so you can get a good sense of what the chorus sounds like. Now, if you're unfamiliar with chorus, it's kind of like a wavy effect, very prominent in the 80s, but it works great on acoustic. So I'm just going to turn the guitar back up. Here we go. It's very subtle, which is a good thing. If you turn chorus up too much, it can get a little bit on the funky side. Now, with this amplifier, once you get the chorus control to 12 o'clock, it's notched. So if you're fumbling from in front of the amp like this, you can find 12 o'clock nice and easily. Here we go. All right, let's crank up the reverb as well. So we've got both on, same thing. That reverb sounds beautiful. It really does. It fills the room beautifully and it feels good to play. So they've really done a great job here on the reverb. Let's take a look at the phase button. If you're unfamiliar with phase, it reverses it. So if you're recording with a microphone, for example, sometimes you can cancel out the signal coming from the guitar, or if you're using another external microphone plugged into the amplifier itself. So this helps reverse the phase. I don't think we're going to hear too much of a difference, being that we've only got one guitar signal going in, but we'll have a listen. Yeah, it's more of an explanation of what it does. You probably won't hear too much of a difference. There is a slight difference in the tonality, but you'll notice it mostly if you're out of phase with whatever sound system or microphone setup you're using. Let's check out channel 2, which is the microphone channel. Now, the strength of this is we get a 3-band EQ and a dedicated reverb control. So as I turn this up, the reverb's going to get really full on. It's really cavernous, really musical, and depending on your vocal skill like me, you might prefer more reverb than less. So that's just a hint at my vocal not being that strong. But basically the 3-band EQ works beautifully. If you want to back off some of that high end, you can. If you want to add a bit more mids and bass, you can do that as well. Now it sounds far fuller and more punchy. Now, if I turn off the reverb altogether, this is the sound that we get. It's dry and it's very exposing. So let's just put a little bit more reverb back on. But this works beautifully. You can set the gain as loud as you want on the microphone, which is kind of like the microphone input gain. And then we have our master over here, which is our master output of the amplifier. Now, any of that popping sound you're hearing is just this microphone. It's called plosives. It's nothing to do with the actual amplifier. For best results, use a little windsock and you'll be good to go. This Artist Acoustic Amplifier also has Bluetooth connectivity, which is great. It means you can play music between sets or jam along to a backing track. And I'll download one off YouTube, royalty free, so you can get a good sense of how this works. Now, on the back of the amp, there's a Bluetooth switch. Simply tap that and Bluetooth will be enabled. Then just go to your Bluetooth devices on your phone, click connect, and you're good to go. Let's wrap this video up. I'm going to give you my final thoughts about the Artist AA60 amplifier, and a massive thanks to Artist Guitars again for sponsoring this video. There's only two things about this that would make it perfect, but it's very good. So I would have loved to have seen some sort of feedback blocker option just with a button on the top, much like the Joyo amplifier. But being that this is far less expensive, it's a trade-off that's definitely not a deal breaker. It just means if you're in close proximity with an acoustic guitar, you might just have to watch the overall master volume. So again, not a deal breaker, but I would have loved to have seen that. And secondly, I've also would have loved to have seen a little slot for a speaker stand. I think this would make for a fantastic foldback, and it sounds so much better than just a powered speaker on its own. So it really is like a mini PA system. And just with that addition, I think it would have been great. Maybe you can buy a bracket or something to put it on a speaker stand, but on the floor or on a stool like this, you're going to hear it no problems at all. The audio quality out of this is phenomenal. I really like it. Now, while most acoustic amplifiers give you lots of top end and lots of low end, I love the fact we get extremely musical reverb circuits, as well as that chorus on the guitar channel, and the microphone channel is super loud. You could do spruiking at a shop or whatever with one of these and it would be really loud. It's far louder than I was able to get it up to in this room in close proximity, again because of the feedback issue. But if you're out doing a gig at a small venue, this would definitely be loud enough. I would have no hesitations recommending it. And you have the option of running that XLR out into a PA system or sound card if you want to record or play to a bigger room. So it gives you lots of flexibility. The Bluetooth option is awesome as well, and it works flawlessly, and you get quite a good range, and I'll put the range on screen. But if you choose not to use Bluetooth, there is auxiliary inputs on the back if you want to rock it old school. So you got that option as well. But this has surprised me to no end, and I gotta say, this acoustic guitar over here, man, what a pleasure to play. I haven't played acoustic guitar for probably a year. I don't own one, so getting back onto an acoustic is always a good challenge for me. But I think the Fishman pickup paired with this particular amplifier gave me some really great sounds. Let us know what you think and check these out. I think value for money wise, these are almost unmatched. Thanks for watching. Catch you soon. See ya.